Beers and Banter, episode 27. We've got a new addition to the Beers and Banter family. We'll do This Week in Sports, preview the first test in Brisbane. Let's do it.
Woo!
Former Renault driver, Lukey. Welcome to the Sweaty Box.
Matty B, thanks for having me, mate. Thanks for having me along. How you been?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. Can you explain the former Renault driver thing to me? So was it F1 or was it like Formula Renault? Or
You read it. I said Renault salesperson, not driver. So you've read the card wrong.
This could be a short podcast. I thought you were a race car driver.
I used to think I was. I used to race around the streets of Brisbane with Renault customers.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I think you're about the only bloke in Australia that was excited when Daniel Ricciardo signed with Renault.
I was pumped. I couldn't believe it. So I started actually watching the Formula 1 religiously from that point.
All right.
But now I want to see him in a different seat.
We might, we'll get into the F1 in a little bit. First things first, we need to crack some beers.
We do.
What's in the esky over there?
Look, mate, we've got a Cricketers. We've got a 4X Gold. What did you put in there?
Is it a Waka Changi?
A Waka, yeah. Waka Changi. What are they like, mate?
I don't know, but someone came to my birthday. Shout out to that person. I don't know who you are. Touch base if it was you. But they left them in my fridge, and I was pleasantly surprised when I started cracking them open. They're not bad.
Yeah, nice. No, it's good. It's always good when you invite friends around and they bring more beers than they drink.
So it is beer out of New Zealand. It's 1.3 standard drinks, 5% alcohol.
Yeah,
Take
nice.
the top off that one for me. Cheers.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Welcome. Oh, that's good. So yeah, shout out to whoever left that in my fridge. They're going good.
Yeah, nice. No, these Cricketers are good. I've had these a bit too. I think they're going to be one of my regulars.
That was a $10 deal at the counter.
How good is it?
I love it. So, first time in the Sweaty Box.
It is.
Thanks for coming down.
No, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Those that know us obviously know that you're my little brother.
Yeah, I've been destined for great things since I was just a little boy, and I've been disappointing people ever since. So
so you're coming on board as junior producer of the show?
Yeah, look, a bit of a Jamie role, I reckon.
You're sort of on cadet pay at this point.
Pay?
Yeah. Yeah, as in you bring the beers.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Should be a good chat.
Yeah, no, it should be good.
Plenty going on in the world of sports. Where do you want to start?
Heaps, mate. Look,
what are your passions? What are your passions? I know there's normally a lot of rugby league chat on this podcast, but we might do it a little bit different today.
Anyone that knows me knows that I watch 3 games of football a year, and that's about it. And that's it's the Blue and Maroons. Apart from that, I couldn't really give a shit about rugby league.
All right, quickly, before we move off rugby league, Cameron Smith has announced today that he's keen to play on, but it'll be up to Craig Bellamy whether or not he gets a start. I can't see him knocking that back.
Yeah, I don't know. Cameron Smith, give it up.
You've had enough of him?
We need someone new. You know, we got a new Origin side coming through. We need some young faces in there, I think.
Well, they got a couple of blokes lined up straight behind him, so I'm no doubt the Storm won't skip a beat when he finally leaves.
Yeah.
Pre-season's in full swing. Obviously, rugby league has the ability to stay in the news cycle year round. Great Britain have just finished off a horrible tour of Australia and the Pacific. Well,
oh, really?
Yeah. It cost me a bit of money on Saturday night. I really needed them to get me out of some jams. Thought they were a sure thing. Had them 13 plus to beat Papua New Guinea, and they got absolutely towed up. So thanks for that, Wayne Bennett. You're a pain in the ass.
So good thing we're not doing the Jaffas anymore.
Yeah, the Jaffa's dead. I've got a new thing starting in a couple of weeks. Hopefully, we might be able to raise some funds for the kids that way. But stay tuned, people. We've got some merch coming.
Some merch.
Yeah, so people will be able to check that out.
What do we got coming, Matt? What are we going to be able to sport?
Let's keep it under wraps just for
Fair
now.
enough.
I'll share in due course. That'll do for rugby league tonight.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's
because rugby league's going to get a mention in a bit later on when we start talking about Code War boxing.
Oh yeah. I'm excited about that actually.
Let's go into the F1s. It's something you're excited about. F1s.
Look, I'm not overly excited. It's a sport I've started following. I'm starting to get pretty passionate about it, and I think we both just watched a really, really good race in the F1, which is becoming a bit boring at the moment.
It was probably
pretty rare.
One of the most exciting races of the year. Had to get up early for it this morning. It was obviously once they go to the Americas, it goes from a 10 or 11 o'clock start on a Sunday night to I can't even remember what time it started this morning. It's a bit blurry, but really enjoyed it. There was a late safety car, threw a cat amongst the pigeons. Yeah. The Ferraris took themselves out, which is always good fun.
It's great to see. But I think that's by far probably the best dry race of the season as far as things happening and, unexpected place changes and that sort of stuff. So, no, it was really great. I'm glad. A couple
of surprising mistakes from Mercedes. They pitted Hamilton late.
Yeah.
Thinking that there was no way they were going to get laps in at the end there. And then he's taken out Albon, which, was it Albon he took out?
That's right, yeah. Alex Albon. That was unfortunate. Alex would have been up for his first podium finish, which, moving to Red Bull midway through the season would have been a really great achievement. Wasn't to be. The person who he replaced, Pierre Gasly.
Yeah.
Come in second in that race, pimping Hamilton on the line. Yeah. Hamilton actually ended up getting a 5-second penalty for that move.
If he hadn't taken Albon out, at one point it was looking like a Honda 1-2-3.
That's right. And until the safety car started and Lewis Hamilton went right around Gasly.
Yeah.
It would have been good. I don't mind the Red Bulls so much. I think you've got a bit of a different opinion than
I don't mind the Red Bulls.
Yeah.
But I liked them more when Ricciardo was in the seat.
Definitely.
Verstappen reminds me of Vettel, back when Vettel used to, take out his teammates and disobey team orders. And he has settled down. You were probably right. You said before the pod that he's warming to. He's probably a lot better this year. And the funny thing is Vettel's still as immature as he ever was. And that showed this morning when he took out his teammate Leclerc and then after the race blamed him for it.
Yeah. Look, that seat of Vettel's, I think maybe 2021, 22, I think that seat's got to go to D-Rick, doesn't it?
Oh,
I'd love to see D-Rick, Leclerc.
He's got an Italian last name. Like, what more do they want?
That's right.
Get him in a Ferrari. Well, Renault, they don't even know whether they're going to be in the sport next year, let alone 2021. So
they will. They will. I think
there's a full review going on at the moment whether or not they're going to spend the money.
Look, if they've only been improving, and I think this year's probably been their best year. Yeah, they have paid $49 million for arguably one of the best Formula 1 drivers in the comp, and they've put him in a midfield car. So I guess you had to pay him that much.
What did he finish this morning? Sixth. Imagine if he hadn't have gone backwards and then copped the penalty, like where.
That's right.
And then with the other stuff that went on, he could have finished almost podium.
He could have.
If Gasly finished on the podium, there's no reason Ricciardo couldn't have.
Silly mistake there early on in the race. Touching Magnussen there.
I missed the first couple of laps, and he must have basically went backwards. Did he? He lost 3 places off the start, or what?
The start was a little bit messy, but that's Formula 1. Excuse me. But no, it was good. And then he went to overtake Magnussen on the inside on one of the corners, and it just didn't go his way, unfortunately.
And I think they announced last weekend that there'll be a few changes to the cars. Obviously, 2021, all the drivers are excited. They're looking forward to racing again.
All the midfield drivers are really excited. I think it's going to be really great for the sport. Aero changes, engine changes.
Put a cap on spending too, so that
$175 million a year budget, which is I think is really great. Also, all your smaller components like steering wheels and all that sort of stuff that the team has to make public. So if they go and spend $3 million on developing the best steering wheel or small parts, I don't think it's the big stuff, but small parts to save those midfield teams money. They've actually got to make that public. So I think it'll really tighten the whole field up, and it'll come down to the drivers, not the car, which is what you want, isn't it?
It should be good because sometimes it's really tough when you're staying up late on a Sunday night or you're up early on the Monday morning to watch the same group of cars. Even when they'll have to pit and they end up 20th and they still end up on the podium.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a ridiculous sport in that respect.
It's a tough sport to be a supporter of if you are a fan of one of the midfield teams. It's like, oh, yeah, just got up at 3:30 and watched my team come fourth. It was awesome.
Well,
Best result yet.
As a newish fan, so I've probably been watching probably since the Mark Webber days. So, but there'd be people that have supported F1 for a lot longer where teams like Williams and McLaren and that, they were used to watching those teams be really successful. So,
yeah. Which is, I think they're trying to get back to that. Whether it happens or not as quickly as they're saying it's going to is another thing. But, yeah, it'd be interesting.
The interesting one is, and I don't think it got answered, was whether or not Ferrari would still have veto powers over rule changes. So due to their history and their long-standing in their position in the sport, they've got the ability to veto rule changes.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's wrong with the sport.
What else you got? Anything else? F1?
Look, F1, that's probably all we need to talk about.
How many races we got to go?
One. Abu Dhabi, I think. Is it Abu Dhabi? I think it's Abu Dhabi.
Something like that.
But yeah, no, it'll be a good race. I think Toro Rosso is about to. I think they're only 6 points behind Renault on their constructors championship.
Yep.
But I saw an interview this afternoon with the Toro Rosso boss, and he didn't seem too confident about the next track. So his car's never done well there. So hopefully Renault will be able to hold them off, and yeah, I think they'll get fifth for the year behind McLaren, which is unfortunate. But Ricciardo's first year, I think it's only up from here.
Particularly when they supply the engines to McLaren, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
It's bizarre.
Not next year. I think is it next year they stop or 2021? I think they're going to a Mercedes powered unit, but don't quote me on that.
Yeah, righto.
Yeah.
What else we got happening? Code Wars in boxing. Do you see any of that?
What is Australia's obsession of watching two has-been footballers punch each other in the face in some of the most slowest, worst boxing matches in Australian history?
Tell us how you really feel.
Well, I don't understand it. Like, you've got all these great boxers coming through the ranks.
Yeah.
And we're putting all this money into watching two footballers. Yeah, I guess the money's there and people are going to pay to watch it. But my biggest issue is, why do people want to watch it? Why do we care?
I think boxing's struggling in general.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're probably right. I don't think Horn was what everyone was hoping it was going to be.
Yeah, that he's fighting. They're fighting against him and Zarafa are fighting against soon.
Will be a good win for Zarafa.
It was an interesting fight. The Gallen Hall one. Obviously, Barry Hall looked a better fighter.
Yeah,
Gallen sort of looked fitter and really took it to him. It looked like it was set up for Hall to win, though. The ref, they were only 2-minute rounds to begin with, and I can say only 2-minute rounds. I've done 2-minute rounds and still couldn't make it through them. But these guys probably got a fair chunk of change. Anyway, the ref seemed to be pulling it up a fair bit just to make sure that Barry got a nice breather in each round. But he did sort of look...
They're old men, though, Matt. You got to understand that. They need a break. They're old men.
They're not that old.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. They weren't even the main event, and the sad thing is that I can't tell you who the young... I watched the fight. I can't think of the guy's name. Yeah. It was a really good fight, though. He ended up stopping the bloke due to he closed his eye up, and he won the interim WBC belt.
And that's the problem with boxing in Australia. What if you're going to watch the Gallen fight, you should know who the main card is. Like, they shouldn't be marketing it as the Gallen Hall fight. They should be marketing it as the fighter A and fighter B with Paul Gallen and Hall co-maining.
So it was basically for a world title or an interim world title.
Yeah.
And I would say most people couldn't tell you. The diehard boxing fans certainly will. I don't disrespect them, but the casual fans, people like myself, I couldn't tell you who that guy was.
Yeah.
And what's worse, I think that's just symptomatic of boxing. I think what the UFC's done really well over the last few years is they are the dominant MMA brand and organisation.
For now.
Well, for now. But if you ask people on the street, 9 times out of 10, they're going to, if you say, do you know what mixed martial arts, that UFC stuff.
Yeah. No, you're right.
But you got Bellator and the other organisations. But
I think
what UFC's done well over boxing is that there's the main organisation, the dominant one. You know, they've got credibility in the fact that, you know, other than this new BMF belt that just recently got done, is that they've generally done well in that, you know, the best fighters end up fighting each other. I know it doesn't always happen, but with the problem we've got in boxing, and even the heavyweight division is really exciting at the moment on the world stage when you've got Tyson Fury, you've got Wilder, you've got Ortiz.
We got Wilder Ortiz this weekend.
Yeah, you've got Andy Ruiz. You've got some really exciting... Is that his name?
Yeah. What a machine, mate. I watched that fight and it came out of nowhere, didn't it?
But part of your problem is you've got different promotions that are all rivals.
Yeah.
And you've got, you know, half a dozen different alphabet belts in boxing. You don't generally... Sometimes we could be robbed of a Fury Wilder rematch purely because they've signed with different TV channels.
Yeah. It comes down to promotional companies and not the actual fighter, which, yeah. But they get around it. You know, they do make it work. And I think it's probably good for the actual pay packets of the fighters because making those things happen do cost more, and they do get it. They, you know, the one promoter isn't taking all the money.
Yeah.
And then, because UFC fighters, they get paid dick all compared to boxers. Like, they don't get paid a lot at all. And when you're talking about world professional sports,
yeah,
like they're not high paid.
Some would argue that they don't pay them well because they'll do a Conor once they get paid well. They don't want to fight again.
Yeah, well, hey.
But there's a lot of boxers out there too, that are not getting that are working working jobs and.
Oh, I'm sure there are, and then I'm sure that it's in every code.
Yeah.
But yeah, UFC takes a big cut, I think. I don't know. I think boxing's just been doing it for so long that I guess it's a bit streamlined for them, and they just sort of know how it works, and that's the way it is, and people don't like it changed. But I don't know. I think UFC needs to pick its game up. I think if it keeps going the way it is, they're not going to have fighters. They're not going to have people want to fight under Dana White because Dana White lets his personal vendettas get in the way of good fights. And
you think so?
Yeah, I do believe so. I think he gets too personal with his fighters. I think he has personal tiffs in public with fighters, which isn't great for your brand. Twitter wars and things like that with people who are meant to be working for him.
Or you would say that they have them with their boss?
Yeah, well, that's right. Well, no, and vice versa.
Yeah.
He bites back, and you can't be having that. In a professional, mixed martial arts competition. I just don't think it should be happening. But it is the way it is at the moment, and he's doing a good job. I'll still go down to the local on a Sunday and watch the UFC, but I'd like to see another promotion in there. Fighting.
What I do like about the UFC is it is a dictatorship. You've got one guy that's the figurehead and perceivably making all the decisions.
I hate it.
I like it because
Nah.
the buck stops with him. I'd like it it's like a commissioner, like in the NBA and the NFL. I'd like the NRL to have a commissioner. Like, so Greenberg's the boss, but like I want a nice strong figure that's basically the boss that makes all the decisions, hands out the fines, hands out the whole. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I don't know. It's an interesting concept to think that mixed martial arts. Well, it's still the fighters aren't making money now, so I guess it's probably not too. It's not big enough for two promotions to have high. Your elite fighters fighting in yet, but it'll get to that point, I think, and I think it'll make way for some good fights.
Yeah, people leave the UFC like that's been shown, but
yeah, I don't think Cyborg signed with the UFC anymore.
No.
She's with somebody else. So it happens when you get your ass beat like 4 times in a row or something like that.
That happens. What about Conor? Who's he fighting? January? Is he going to come back?
Yeah. Look, Conor's fighting Cowboy, which would be a good fight. Conor's my boy. All my mates know that I'm a big Conor advocate. I'm been a bit quiet lately, but yeah. But I like watching Conor fight. I just love the antics. Yeah, that's what you got to love about him.
Got a bit of bad press lately, punching blokes in pubs and.
Yeah. How'd that rape charge turn out? Did we find that out? Because that'll be a big turning card, just whether I'm actually a McGregor supporter or not. But I never
Well, let's throw an alleged in that. So it's alleged.
Alleged rape. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But I don't know.
But I don't know what
Even
happened there.
Dana White said they don't like hearing that sort of stuff and don't.
Of course not.
I would
Of course
say
not.
that's
So
possibly why he hasn't done a fight of late.
there's plenty of reasons why Connor hasn't done a fight of late.
Yeah.
But no, it'd be good to see him in the ring. He said he wanted the winner of Jorge and Nate.
I don't know if he gets to just do that. There is talk that he's been stacking weight on, but
Yeah.
you can't fight. You can't, just take 12 months out of and then just come in and go, yeah, I'm going to fight this guy.
But that's the problem with UFC.
Don't let him.
Yeah. That's a big problem. It's not the best fighters fighting the best fighters. It's the two fights that Dana White wants.
Well, sometimes it's good though
Or the
because
two
you don't
people
get
fighting.
tune-up fights in the UFC.
No.
You know what I mean? Like world championship boxers, they get tune-up fights. So Tyson Fury, he had that. Was it a draw with Wilder?
Yeah, with Wilder, yeah.
And then I couldn't name the two blokes that came after that.
No.
One of them's
Yeah, I'm a fanboy boxing fan, so I don't religiously watch it, but
what I'm saying though is that he got two tune-up fights.
yeah, well that's right. You don't know the name.
Yeah,
Go bash them around. And
you don't. Connor doesn't get to come in and fight.
Well, he's getting a tune-up fight. He's fighting Cowboy.
I wouldn't say that's a tune-up fight though.
That's a tune-up fight. That's a tune-up
On his
fight.
day, Cerrone could choke him out as good as those other blokes.
There's a reason why he's fighting Cowboy Cerrone.
Yeah, that's
And he's the name of the. He was the UFC until he went and thought he could box.
who.
Connor. Until he thought he could box, he was the UFC.
Khabib made him look like a little baby boy,
Didn't he?
and that hurts me to say that because I'm a Connor fan.
But
Khabib made him. He mauled him,
yeah,
and that's why I don't know if you'll ever get that rematch because
yeah.
he'd need to start starching blokes left, right, and centre to get that rematch.
That's He would have to be Conor Revolt for maybe 3 or 4 fights. All right, here's a big name fighter. Whack! I just knocked him out in the first round. Next, but I can't see that happening. Honestly,
I think more than that. I think he's got to do more than knock blokes out early in a fight. I think he's got to bash some blokes and maybe throw a bit of wrestling in there because until he can wrestle,
excuse me,
Khabib's gonna get him, and that may never happen.
But in that, I know it's such a long time ago now, but in that Habib fight, I thought he showed some good ground game. He still got mauled.
Yeah,
But I think he focused on it so much. I think he lost a lot of other aspects of his game.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So he wasn't thinking, all right, when am I gonna put one on his chin? He's going, okay, when am I going to take down defense? Take down defense.
Yeah.
So, which is all part of the mental side of it that those professional guys get to overcome and adversity. It's what makes a great fighter, isn't it? Really, adversity.
What?
Well, all the greatest. I think most people would argue the greatest boxers in the world have all lost.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very true. What about the hottest property in mixed martial arts right now?
It's got to be Jorge, doesn't it? He's the new boy.
Game Bred.
Yeah,
3-piece
Game Bred.
soda.
He I like him. I think he's got a good head on him. I think I'm a little bit like everyone else. I didn't really hear much of him until he kneed Ben Askren in the face in 3 seconds or something.
Oh, obviously, he stopped Till, which was probably a big sort of put him on the map. He'd been around a long time before that, and you see a lot of the back. Like he's been fighting forever in people's backyards, and
That's right. He was with
Kimbo Slice.
That's right. Yeah.
So, I'm the same. At first, I was like, I don't know if I like this guy. And now, every time I hear him speak and he fights, because I was starting to get on the Ben Askren bandwagon.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he
I was the
starts
same.
him, and I'm just like, how good's this?
Well, I didn't like him. I was like, arrogant prick and rah rah, and I don't want to put up with that. But then you watch an interview and you watch what he's like when he's not in the ring, and you're like, oh, okay,
yeah,
he's actually a decent dude, and business is business, and they talk smack and it happens. But I like him. I think he'll be good for the sport. Probably the next face of the UFC, because they don't really. I don't know. There's not much else going on really.
Well, now Nick Diaz wants to fight him. And when was the last time? I've never seen him fight.
Nate Diaz said he's retiring.
I'm much of a new UFC fan. I've never watched Nick Diaz fight.
No, I've watched I've watched a couple of Nick's fights, but I've never watched a Nick fight. If you know what I mean.
Yeah. Nate's not retired. He come out and backflipped.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
I missed that.
Yeah.
Wait, how am I going to get paid?
It's just Nate Diaz being Nate Diaz.
Yeah. I want to see that rematch. I don't want Dana to call a doctor in.
He didn't call the doctor.
Dana called that. He allegedly.
He was. He was just as pissed in the beginning that it was stopped.
No, he wasn't. He called that doctor into the fight.
Please.
Dana sent that doctor in for sure.
It's New York. That was your problem. It was in New York.
No. All right. Dana White sent that doctor in. Our Golden Boys about to get smoked in round 4 by Nate Diaz.
No, I don't think so.
Yes, I'm telling you.
He didn't.
I was there.
You were not there. I think Jorge had him. He was bashing him up.
Yeah.
Unless he knocked him out, Jorge had won. It was
I thought,
he'd won 3 rounds convincingly, potentially even a 10-8 round.
Yeah.
There was no way Nate was going to win that on a decision, and I couldn't see him knocking out Masvidal.
I could see it coming. You could see it in his eyes, man. The way he shapes up at the end of the round. You know, you see it. He's just got that. He's got that fire. He's a street kid, mate. You got to hit him a few times before they fire up.
I think he needs to get his face sorted out because that was a fair gash. His eye was about to fall out.
It was a bit of a.
It was bad. It was a bad cut.
I saw the social after it, the socials, and I was like, oh. The fight shouldn't have stopped.
Yeah.
It was a bad cut, but damn it. I think I just pissed off that I paid $55 to put it on at home.
It's all over. At least you got 3 rounds.
Yeah, better than if you put the Askren fight on. Jorge Askren.
For sure. Well, I'm excited. I do enjoy it. I used to be, I'll never say I was diehard. I don't know every boxer's name and all that stuff, but I really do like, combat sports. I think it's sort of, one of the oldest forms of entertainment. You think back to the gladiators going into the Colosseum and one comes out alive. I don't know.
Bring that back.
What drew me to the UFC was probably when Ronda Rousey came to Australia, and there was a lot of hype around that. And
she got kicked in the fucking face.
Well, I'm starting to think I shouldn't follow any UFC fighters because every time I start to I like this person, they get absolutely starched. So Ronda and then Conor and Ben Askren.
Well, it was.
I don't want to get on Masvidal because then he'll get smoked.
Well, he's already been smoked. That's the thing. He's had a brand change. He never used to get smoked.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever been knocked
lost.
Out,
he's lost by Joe touches on it with he has a podcast with what's his name? Usman, the dude who fights out of
Usman Khawaja.
Yeah, I think that's it. No, the guy who fights out of
Kamaru Usman.
Yeah, fights out of New Zealand.
No, that's Israel
Adesanya. Yeah, Israel Adesanya. Sorry. He had a podcast with him and he's talking about it. And sorry, what were we talking about?
I don't know.
No, so yeah, I don't know. UFC, it is what it is. I think
what were we talking about? People getting starched.
That's right. Yeah. And
Gamebred. He's never been.
No. Oh, that's right. And he went through a full rebranding of himself. So he said he's looking at his previous fights and going, "Why didn't I win that fight? Split decision. I could have won that fight." And he goes, "Why am I being such a pussy? I should have just knocked that guy out."
Yeah, I don't think he's ever been stopped. What was interesting, Israel Adesanya, I saw over the weekend. He's got a unblemished record in MMA.
Yeah.
But he got knocked out a few times.
In kickboxing.
Yeah. Which was interesting because the way he talks, it's like he's the world's best and, like no one could touch him in striking. And
I like him.
I do. He's pretty good, but he's like anybody, like what you said before.
Yeah.
Even the best have got a blemish.
It's adversity, man. Without that loss, how do you learn?
True.
So,
that was some good advice that I got the night I got knocked out in the boxing ring. I was like, happens to the best of us, mate.
I think I was the only one at our table cheering.
That is rough. Why would you cheer when your big brother gets knocked on his
Mum was
ass?
pretty upset.
Anyway, let's move on. Cricket. We got the first test.
We do.
It's a big week.
Cricket's my game, mate. I'm so excited for summer. Anyone who knows me knows that I love my cricket.
I've been a little bit disappointed in the crowds and some of the marketing for the cricket to start the summer. Like,
I didn't know the 2020 was on until I turned it on.
Yeah.
Popped up on my KO. Australia's playing. I'm like, oh, okay. I guess I'll put that on. Or Dad had messaged me.
Part of that was probably we never normally play any international cricket before the first test. But India, because they're India, we've got to go to India in January when we'd normally be playing in Australia.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's why we've had to start our summer early, and we've had T20s and one-dayers before our tests.
What are they? That keen for Steve Smith to score 300 runs a game against them?
Yeah, I don't know. Just typical India getting their way, I guess.
I'm done this one, mate. What are you feeling next?
Well, is there another one of those Wakachangies in there?
There is, mate.
Or do you want to try one of them? What else you got in there?
Actually, I'm going to go the Bolter, mate.
Right, you strap yourself in. Give us a review of that. That is a daisy. That's a double hazy IPA.
We used to sell these at Tomcat when I worked there, and they're not bad.
I think that's 3.5 standard drink, so I think you're going to have to stay the night if you have that.
3.2. Yeah, well, I brought a bag because I can't drive home.
That's the way.
And not even because I've been drinking and driving. I physically can't start my car because of past mistakes.
What if one of the kids breathed into it for you?
So it goes off. So you blow into it to start your car, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, yep, sweet. And you drive off. 5 minutes down the road, it goes off again.
Oh, that's no good.
No.
That could cause an accident.
Yeah, well, you meant to. I pull over every time to do it.
If the government was serious about drink driving, they'd put one of those in every car. It'll just be standard fitted, and then you'd never get yourself into trouble.
But this is the thing, though, right? So I don't advocate drink driving at all.
Do I get a beer or?
Oh, you do. Sorry. So I obviously don't advocate for drink driving at all, and avoid it when possible. But I got done for drink driving, right? So low range.
Yep.
Next morning, I'd had a big night, got pulled over. Shit. This is like when I was 21 or something.
So footy player style.
Yeah.
On the way to training.
I was actually on my way to work. So I was working a Saturday, which was rare at the time. And on my way to work, get pulled over, blow in the bag, blow 0.06 or something. I'm like, that's a bit shit. I lose my license for a month, right? That's all they gave me. 1 month and some small fine. 4 years and 50 weeks later, I think it's a Sunday morning or something. I'm driving over to my girlfriend's place after a night on the turfs.
Yeah.
Same thing. Pull over, blow 0.062 or something. Next day, had no idea. Because I'd got done twice in a 5-year period, no matter what the levels were, it's required by law that I have to have an interlock system put in my car.
At your expense?
At my expense. So it's like $300 and something to get the little eye put on your license. It's another, that's it. That's before you even get the interlock. It's $300, $330 or something to get it installed. And that's $250 every 2 months for a year.
To get it,
they service it.
Calibrated.
Yeah. But they don't even service it. All they do is plug a computer into it, get all your readings out, and then send that off to the government. And then if you've been blowing into it too much and been over, they can actually extend your time.
Oh, if you've been trying to start the car while you're pissed.
That's right. Too many times.
So the message here, kids, is
don't drink and drive.
Don't drink.
It's not worth it. It's definitely not worth it. I think we're all silly when we're young. I'm still young-ish, but just don't do it.
You're not that young, bro.
I know. I think about it every day. I'm like 27. Jesus, where did that all go?
That was middle aged 100 years ago. 27.
It was middle aged. What else have we got, Burrell?
We got sidetracked. Where's your test team? You got something for
I emailed it to you. There it is.
Oh, what is it?
I don't know. Did I not email it to you?
You got the email address wrong.
I must have.
I don't know why that's up on screen. Everyone's been reading my emails. Let's have a look.
Youporn.com.
I'll see if I can find it. Cut it out. Australian test team.
Yeah. It's a good squad. I like it. Something else I'd like to touch on too. Something that's been happening quite a bit. I know we didn't talk about it before the pod, but we've had 3. I think you, me, and Dad talked about it in the group chat.
Yeah.
We had 3 players pull out due to mental illness
In what?
in cricket. So you've had Glenn Maxwell. You've had this what's his name? Pavosky, whatever. his name.
I've got no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, really?
I've missed it. No.
So we've had 3 players say they aren't available due to their mental well-being at the time.
Yeah.
What's going on there? If we've I'm sure you heard about Glenn Maxwell pulling out. He didn't play the last 2020 because of it.
I think I haven't read anything. I haven't really I might have seen a headline, but I haven't really followed up with what's going on.
Anyway,
I would say it's
I guess there ain't much to talk about it on.
Well, I would say that it's probably more a symptom of society at large as opposed to just professional sports. That it's, I don't know, it's probably something that's always been there, but probably swept under the rug. Do
you think now that people are feeling that, all right, I can come out and I can say, look, I'm not okay.
Yeah,
I'm not feeling it. You know, things are really starting to get big on me, and it's actually, I guess back, like if I was in that situation, which I never will be, obviously, but I would feel the pressure that tough it up. You're a professional athlete. The mental side of it is a part of the game. It's mentally tough. That's why you get paid big money.
Yeah.
So for them to be able to, come out and say that they aren't feeling great and they are putting themselves before the game, I think is good. I think definitely for the longevity of the players.
I would say social media's got a big lot to answer for there. I know it's easy to say, they don't need to go on social media, but let's be real. Everyone's on social media.
Yeah, that's right.
It's part of their branding. It's part of their profession would be to be present on social media. Back in the day, if you're Alan Border and you're captaining a shit series on the other side of the world, other than the journos asking you questions,
32 tins on the plane.
If you want to switch off, you just basically don't read the paper and you don't see the negativity. Whereas these guys probably can't escape it. So I don't know.
It's a tough one.
You look at Steve Smith, I think he's an advocate for Gussie Warland's Gotcha for Life program. So he did a lot of work in that space because he admitted that when he went through his ban, he was in a dark place. And I don't know, I think it's good that they can talk about it. It helps other people, sort of the average Joe can then feel more comfortable to talk about what they're going through.
And folks at home, if you are ever feeling like there isn't anything, Lifeline, give them a call.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I think everyone's got their battles, and some people are dealing with them better than they are others. And
I think we all go through our own little things, and
definitely,
I think everyone handles it differently. I think it's all about perspective, isn't it?
True.
There's always someone that's had something worse happen to them than you, but for you, that's the worst thing in the world that's happened to you. So that's the worst you've ever felt.
It's always a good thing when something's really heaping on you and you think, if that's the worst thing that happens today, I'm probably going to be all right.
Yeah.
But sometimes it feels like the world's on your shoulders. Anyway, let's actually have a look at this test team. So
sorry,
this
we
test
keep getting sidetracked.
That's all right. It's all about the chat.
We probably should have got this out of the way before we started.
It's all about the banter here, folks. Australian Test Squad. We've got Dave Warner, Joe Burns,
Boo Burns.
What?
Boo Burns. No, it's just I don't mind Joe Burns. I think he's all right. It's just a joke. He was going a real shit time with the heat.
Way off, bro. Marnus.
I love Marnus. Marnus being in there, I think is a great thing. He proved that he's a run machine.
This could be disrespectful, but I call him Marnus Lasagna.
I do now too because you do.
We got Steve Smith, Cameron Bancroft. I don't think he's made the side for this week though.
Love that inclusion. I don't love it, but I think it's really good to see Cameron get in there. I think he was extremely unlucky to get dropped from the Ashes side. No one was making runs.
There's got to be something newer than this, surely, because that's the squad. I think they've named the team, haven't they?
Well, Pavosky's not there. Yeah, I think
Get it. We're having a shock.
Where's my phone?
Dude, where's my phone?
I think I had it up on my phone that I didn't email to you.
Today.
What we got? Yeah, definitely sent it, mate. Oh, you've given me a bump steer. All right, so we got Tim Payne. Oh no, this is the squad as well. I think they might not. They wouldn't have released a team yet. Maybe.
No, maybe not.
Maybe not. Maybe, but maybe not.
Go back and have a look then.
Good to see Cameron Bancroft in there. Like I said, I thought he was really unlucky to get dropped from the Ashes side in England. He wasn't scoring runs, but neither was anyone but Steve Smith.
Yeah.
He took some game changing catches down there in short leg. So I don't know. It's good to see him in there.
Davey Warner's made some runs of late, so
yeah. Hopefully he can. I love Davey, so it's good to see him make some runs. It'd be good to see him make some runs over the summer. Yeah, he doesn't play so well overseas, but he's got a pretty good average here.
And
so
Patterson's going to miss out due to an indiscretion.
When are these guys going to learn?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't
know the ins and outs there, other than
just shut up. No one wants to hear it anymore.
Speaking of shut up, what about today's news? And we don't really like giving him airtime on this show, but we seem to do it every time he pops his little head up. Israel Folau, up until last night, I would have said deserves another crack at the NRL. And people might not like that opinion.
I never would have said that. But
the reason I say that is because we've got domestic violence perpetrators. We've got people that are aggravated assaults, drug possession.
But they all said sorry.
I would have said that what he's done would be on the lower end of that scale, and I do.
Yeah.
I completely disagree with his views. I want to put that out there.
Sticks and stones can hurt my bone. Yeah, break my
But
bones.
I would have said a social media post versus actually King hitting someone. Surely there's one's less hurtful than the other. Whatever. Up until yesterday, I would have said.
Hurtful.
Up until yesterday, I would have said, potentially could have been let back into some sort of. Today, he is officially the most toxic sports person in Australia.
I didn't believe you. When I come in, you're like, "Did you hear about Israel?" I'm like, "No, what?"
Smite me, oh smitey one. I'm just going to put this out there, and this could be potentially deadly. So if you do want to leave the podcast studio now, you can. But
okay.
I would say, if God feels this way, strike the podcast studio with lightning now.
I think we're good.
Oh, right. I think God would be more targeted with his attacks. Like we wouldn't be setting the forest on fire. He'd just be setting on.
I'm pretty sure there's no God, mate. If there was a God,
he would take the Thanos approach and it'd be a click of the fingers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
yeah. I don't think he's asking a footballer to do his good work for him. But anyway,
So for those of you that don't know what we're talking about, Folau's made headlines again today and basically blamed the same-sex marriage bill for the bushfires.
Yeah, well, I agree. No, it's an absolute joke. I don't know. The thing is, he has supporters, mate. This is the thing. He has people that support him on these views. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Like, what is it with Australians in particular and those sports?
Easy, Tiger. Easy.
We have a whole lot of homophobic racists. Let's not beat around the bush, and it's a problem. It is a real problem. I think it's something we need to address.
I think we're trying.
Yeah.
And that's
we are trying, 100%.
And that is why the NRL took such a staunch approach to Folau. But I would have said.
But I wouldn't hide him after the first incident.
I also wouldn't have signed Matt Lodge though. That guy's he's potentially the captain of the Broncos in 2020.
Yeah, it's good. I hate the Broncos.
Yeah.
No, it's. I don't know what he's expecting to get at that. Apparently, Bob Catter backed him allegedly. So I think I read something.
That's probably all you need to hear then.
Yeah. So
when Barnaby Joyce is coming out and saying, "Hey mate, just put a lid on it," you're probably gone too far.
Yeah.
Look, we've been waffling for a while, so I'm gonna take you to the final three questions.
Have we?
Yeah.
How long are we going?
Oh, it's been going on a bit. We've got no listeners at this point. Everyone's tuned out.
I got another 8 hours in me.
We're going to go into the big three
The
questions.
big 3 questions. I've been looking forward to these. No, I haven't. I haven't actually prepared for these at all, so I'm a little bit nervous.
All right, here we go. Rapid fire. Favourite place in the world for a beer?
Favourite place in the world for a beer? Mate, it's got to be...
Just so you know.
Valley, Brisbane.
The Valley.
Saturday night. Tomcat. I love, everyone hates how much I love that bar. But Tomcat, Brisbane. You should visit it. It's good.
Shout out to the Tomcat, but you need to do some travel, bro. Favourite athlete of all time?
You just put me on the spot. I couldn't think. Look, I think we're witnessing it. I think Steve Smith. I'm a big cricket fan. I'm saying better than Bradman. I'm saying he is better than Bradman, and I think he's great to watch. I think there's still massive things coming from him, and I think he will be the GOAT as far as cricket goes, and batsman.
That's a huge call.
It's a big call. I'm making it though.
I'm happy to say best since Bradman.
No, better than.
Better than Bradman.
Better than.
Righto. Last question. 4 people over for a barbecue. Anybody from history? Who are you inviting, and what are you cooking?
Look, I'm cooking bacon and eggs. I love cooking brekkie. So I'm getting some bacon and eggs rolling.
Yeah, righto.
Yep. So some French toast, some hash browns, getting it all happening, a bit of maple syrup. You coming around?
I'm there. Yeah.
All right, you're in.
Cool.
It's one. It's gotta be you. Probably Clado, I'd say.
Yeah.
Gotta have Clado there.
Love you, brother.
Connor.
Yep.
And Israel. Just to keep things interesting.
Adesanya?
No,
Or
Flower.
Wow, righto. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I reckon Connor would beat the shit out of it.
Righto.
I don't. Yeah, you need to give me more time with that. I couldn't come up with any good answers.
That's all right. I'm going to give a shout out to our baby sister. It's her birthday today.
Happy birthday, Ellie! If you're listening, I doubt she does.
She better. Els bells. I'll know because I'll get a text. So if you haven't listened all the way to the end of the episode, we'll know.
And every other one of you, thanks for listening.
Yep. Lukey.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks for joining us. You're part of the Beers and Banter family now. So
yeah. Well, who knows? Might even be a regular voice.
It'll be good to see it. We'll see what the fans say. Actually, we'll leave that up to them. If,
Well, leave a little something down in the comments.
Yeah, righto. You can follow us at Beers and Banter on all the platforms. Head over to YouTube, leave a comment if you like. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Come at us. Thanks for listening. We'll see you soon.
Thanks for having me. See you later.
Cheers.